In certain situations, a Canadian employer wanting to hire a foreign national must first submit an offer of employment. But what is an offer of employment? And is it the same thing as an employment contract? It can all be very confusing. An offer of employment is a very different thing. It has to be submitted to the immigration authorities using something called an employer portal, and it details the conditions under which the employee is going to be hired. As an employer, you do not always have to submit an offer of employment. The offer of employment is only necessary where you are supporting an application for a work permit that is not already supported by a labor market impact assessment, an LMIA. All right. So this only apply in some LMIA exempt type work permit applications. So if there's no LMIA involved, chances are, as an employer, you will have to submit an offer of employment. And in order for you to submit an offer of employment, you must first have an employer portal set up. The employer portal is just an online gateway to which you have secure and confidential access, and through which you are able to submit your offer of employment to the immigration authorities. Now, the offer of employment is important because it is where you are able to detail the terms and conditions under which you are going to be hiring the foreign national, and it allows the immigration authorities to determine whether or not the application meets the requirements that meets Canada's immigration requirements. And it also provides the immigration authorities with a starting point in the event they need to do an audit of your work permit, should the work permit be issued, and an audit needs to be done at a later date. So the offer of employment is really you, the employer, submitting information such as details around the duties that the employee will be performing in Canada, and that information on the duties will allow the immigration authorities, for instance, to assess the application to determine, for example, whether or not those duties are so high skilled that you require a foreign national to do it rather than a Canadian. So you would include information on the duties to be submitted, to be performed by the foreign national. You would also include in the offer of employment information on the salary to be paid. That's important because the immigration authorities will want to know that the salary meets what's called the minimum prevailing wage or the median prevailing wage. There's a minimum salary that must be paid to foreign nationals depending on the geographical location that they'll be working from when they're inside Canada. That information must be included in the offer of employment. Similarly, the physical location in Canada that the employee is going to be working from, that too must be included in the offer of employment. The offer of employment will outline details about the types of employee benefits that the employee is going to be enjoying while inside Canada, as well as detail the NOC, the National Occupational Classification Code, that the employee fits under. So all of this information is going to be included in the offer of employment, which is going to be submitted to the immigration authorities using the employer portal. And then once that submission happens, the government's employer portal automatically generates what's called an A number, which is an identification number that ties to the employee's work permit application, and therefore that A number would need to be included along with the work permit application when that work permit application is being submitted. Okay, so that is what an offer of employment is. And again, the offer of employment becomes very important if at some point in the future you as the employer are being audited by the immigration authorities, to determine whether or not you have been conforming to the conditions on the work permit. The authorities will look to the information provided in the offer of employment to guide them in determining whether or not you would have met the requirements. So the offer of employment is a crucial part of any work permit application that does not require an LMIA. And it is also going to be crucially important in the future in the event of an immigration audit. All right, so I trust you found value from this video. As always, remember to like our videos so others will see more videos like this. Subscribe to our channel and check us out on our website at go.gooselaw.com. Thanks, see you again.